are some legendary players who spent their entire careers trying to win a ring, leading a team to the finals, winning an MVP award, and yet they still never got a touch of that Larry O'Brien trophy. This video is not about those types of players. In fact, we're naming the worst or least best NBA champion on each team. And before we begin, I do got a few rules and pointers. Firstly, the player is only being looked at their championship season, not their overall career. For example, Gary Payton was a near MVP caliber player during his prime, but was clearly a role player when he won his ring in Miami. Another thing I want to point out is that every player on this list is really talented at basketball, and the gap between these professionals and the average person is much wider than the gap between these players and MVP caliber players. So even if minuscule, they still contributed to helping their team win it all. They are still champions. Let's see if you agree with my picks, and speaking of picks, to find the best picks and award odds, check out the Game Days NBA Pick of the Day. You can find the 2023 odds for the finals and the MVP winner by clicking that top link down below or heading down to thegameday.com. The 76ers' worst or least best champion is Mark McNamara. Mark won his ring as a rookie, playing for the 76ers at age 23 in 1983. In terms of his rookie season with the 76ers and a champion, he only played 36 games and averaged 2.2 points per game. Overall, he averaged 3.5 points per game and was a solid role player. There's just way too much competition on that 83 roster. Thus, he gets this pick. Rest in peace to Mark. The Milwaukee Bucks' worst or least best champion has to be Axel Toupane. Axel is a 2021 champion, but he only played 8 games for the Milwaukee Bucks in that season. He averaged 1.8 points per game, and he actually started one of those games, believe it or not. The Bulls' worst or least best champion is Keith Booth. Keith only played 2 seasons in the NBA and won a ring during his rookie season, which was the final ring that Michael Jordan won in 1998. Keith only played 6 games in 1998, averaging 1.7 points per game. That's still better than Skip Bayless's 1.4 points per game. For the Cavaliers, we have Sasha Khan. Sasha only played 1 season in the NBA, and of course that was during the Cavs title run in 2016. He averaged less than 1 point per game and only played 25 games during that season, but nonetheless, his contribution during the scrimmages helped the Cavs in their 3-1 comeback. As for the Celtics, we do not have Brian Scalabrine. We can't deduct points for someone being nice to the league and going easy on everyone. My pick here is Gabe Pruitt, who only spent 2 seasons in the NBA, those being the 2008 and 2009 seasons. He won a ring in his rookie year, only playing 15 games and averaging 2.1 points per game. For the Hawks, we have to go all the way back to their only championship season so far, and that was the 1958 season when they were still the St. Louis Hawks. There are some players on that roster that didn't make the cut to be considered on the title run, so of those who received rings and are considered champions, my pick is Walt Davis, who spent his career with the Warriors but played his final season with the Hawks, averaging 4.9 points per game. Rest in peace to Walt. With the Miami Heat, my pick is Dexter Pittman, who spent 2.5 seasons in South Beach, averaging 2.3 points per game. He won it all in 2012, as he played 35 games in that season. That was his longest season. His rookie season, he only played 2 games, and in his final season, he also only played 2 games, averaging 0 points per game in that season. For the Kings, we need a time machine, as we have to go all the way back to the year 1951. In that 1951 roster, as of those who were considered a part of the title run, my pick here is Joe McNamee, who was a rookie when he won it all during that season, averaging 2.1 points per game. He averaged a career 2.4 points per game and spent 3 seasons in the NBA. Rest in peace to Joe. So far, the Knicks won championships in the years 1970 and 1973. As of the 2 title rosters, my pick here is Hawthorne Wingo. Wingo won it all in his rookie season, only playing 13 games that season and averaging 1.5 points per game in 1973, but he later developed into a solid role player who averaged 7.4 points per game in his best season. He was a pretty good player. He only got this pick for being a rookie who hardly played during that championship season. Rest in peace to Hawthorne Wingo. With the Lakers, we're picking you. You is the worst or least best Laker champion. Son Yu only played 10 games in the NBA and won a ring during his only rookie season in 2009 alongside the legendary Kobe Bryant. Son averaged 0.6 points per game, or roughly 2 games per point. The Mavs so far only have 1 title year, and that was in 2011. On that 2011 roster, I have to go with the rookie at that time, Dominique Jones, who averaged 2.3 points per game. In that season, he only played 18 games. Jones only spent 3 seasons in the NBA NBA and averaged 3.1 points per game in his overall career. With the Pistons, we have to go with their biggest draft bust, Darko Milicic, who was a rookie champion, though he still pulled a Skip Bayless averaging 1.4 points per game, as the Pistons went on to win it all in that 03-04 season. The Raptors only have one title roster so far, and that was in the year 2019. On that roster, my pick goes to Eric Morland. He played just 4 games with the Raptors, averaging 1.8 points per game. He's still got a ring though, so we can't complain. From one Eric to another, with the Rockets, we gotta go to Eric Riley, who won a ring during his rookie season in 1994, averaging 1.9 points per game. He wasn't there for the repeat ring in 95 because he was playing for the Clippers in his second year. Did you know that James actually won the 2014 finals? That's right, and by James, I mean Damian James, who played with the Spurs during his 4th and final NBA season. Retiring as a champion, playing in one of his longest seasons ever with a total of 5 games that season, which is double his previous season of 2 games in Brooklyn. He averaged 1.2 points per game in 2014. As for the Thunder/Supersonics, they only have one championship roster so far, and that is the 1979 Supersonics. On that roster, my pick is Dennis Autry, who averaged 2 points per game coming off the bench. The Trailblazers also only have one championship roster so far, and that's the 1977 roster. On that roster, my pick is Corky Calhoun, who only averaged 3.4 points per game in that title run, but this was later in his career. Back in his early days with the Suns, in his best season, he put up over 8 points per game, so he was a solid role player in his overall career. As for the Warriors, there are a number of fair options to choose from, but the guy I'm going with is a 3-time NBA champ who won 3 straight, 2 with the Warriors, 1 with the Raptors, and that man is Patrick Mccaw. And maybe statistically you do have worse options, but the fact that this guy has as many rings as Dwayne Wade, he deserves recognition, thus he gets my pick. And last but not least, we have the Wizards/Bullets. My pick here is Joe Pace, but Joe's story in life is one of many comebacks. He went through a lot of struggles, but he never gave up and is a champion both on and off the court. He spent 2 seasons in the NBA, and his basketball career was cut short due to a back injury, though he was a really talented player. He gets this pick due to the intense competition on that 1978 Bullets roster. He averaged 3.2 points per game during his career. So here is every NBA team's worst or least best champion. Let me know what you think of this list and what you want to see in the future. Don't forget to dunk on that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on. I'm Rebound Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.